Today we're going to talk some with our computer science advisors. We have them in our department to help everyone out when you come into computer science. So not only do you have the admissions advisors, but you have specific ones for our department. So we have Laurel and Morgan with us today, and we're going to let them tell us what they do for the department, and then we'll try and address some of the questions that y'all sent in the survey.
My name is Laurel Sweet. I'm one of the academic advisors in the computer science department. I've been with advising for about 3 years now, and I oversee the elements of computing certificate and also help facilitate the transfer process.
My name is Morgan Baggiano. I've been in UTCS about 6 years now, and I went to UT as a communication student, and I handle the first year PODS program as well as advise current students.
In the course of your day, what happens when you're in the office?
Typically answering emails, seeing students as they come in. It also depends on the time of the year. Obviously now we're gearing up for orientation, and Morgan's taking a ton of time to develop an online module for us, which is awesome. But typically it's answering emails, seeing students as they come in, whatever projects that we need to take care of.
In the fall, we go to our freshman pod meetings, and we do a lot of department events. You know, we help out with prospective students or camps, or do like welcome events, things like that if we're not in our appointments, yeah.
What is the freshman pod?
So the pod is the CS learning community for all freshmen. A group of 20 to 25 students each will be placed into the same courses in computer science and math. And then they'll have an upper division student as a mentor who leads weekly meetings on subjects related to computer science and academics, like career planning, but also midterm preparation and things like that. And then the advisor also joins those weekly meetings.
The preparation that y'all do for the pods usually looks pretty fun from my perspective when we're in the office. Can you talk a little bit about when you go to your pod, what happens?
We bring free food, one thing we do to entice attendance, for sure. And sometimes we just do social things like take them to the drag and have, you know, bubble tea, or we bring pizza and sit on the lawn and have a picnic or something like that.
Can you talk a little bit about right now in your advising? So you're advising for summer, I assume, coming up. Are you doing it via Zoom? How is that working?
Yes, we are. The whole university is operating on Zoom in terms of academic advising. To my knowledge, none are on campus.
Advice on preparation that they should be doing in high school to be a competitive CS major.
So obviously having pretty stellar scores on your SAT and ACT, then also trying to get involved in as many basically STEM things as possible. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just computer science related. If you're doing UIL for math, robotic, I don't even know, there's so many UIL things now. But having a good STEM background definitely helps. If you happen to take the AP computer science test, there's A and there's principles if you take both, or if you just take A. Also helps as well. Even if you don't take those tests, just coding on your own, doing your own projects, you know, HTML, little workshops that you can find online are good preparations.
Yeah, definitely showing just performance in math and science coursework is really important. Showing that you've taken advantage of the opportunities available to you. So the admissions office knows that computer science isn't available to everyone, but if you took 9 out of the 10 AP classes available to you and you're very involved in your school, you know, that says a lot about you as an applicant. So yes, definitely math and science performance, and showing that you're a good fit for the major is increasingly important.
Do all incoming students have they taken CS classes or have some CS background?
There are a large majority of students who come in with some exposure to computer science. About 50% of our students will actually even skip our introduction to programming course, but our introduction to programming course assumes no prior knowledge whatsoever. So it is perfectly fine to enter without coding experience.
There are various degree programs that they can take in computer science. Could you talk a little bit about those degree programs and how you advise on each one of them?
Our degree plans are actually pretty simple in computer science. We have two traditional degrees, either a Bachelor of Science, which is your default traditional option. We also have a Bachelor of Science in Arts, which is a interdisciplinary option. They are all degrees in purely computer science. So we do not have like specializations or specific tracks. But in addition to those, we do have the honors degrees, the Turing Scholars Honors Degree and the Computer Science Business Honors Degree. And then lastly, we have an integrated 5-year master's degree. So most of our students, we are advising between the BS and the BSA degree, or they are admitted as freshmen in the honors program and work with our honors advisor from the beginning on their degree plans.
We get a lot of students that are interested in both computer science and engineering. Do you have anything to say to them?
It's hard to say, but when you're talking about actually applying to UT, the best thing you can do is put your first choice as what is truly your first choice. Both departments are extremely highly ranked, and you probably need to talk to like a faculty member to really truly understand the difference if you need more help. But bluntly, it's hardware versus software is our understanding. We start at the top and work our way down, whereas ECE, when we're specifically only talking about electrical and computer engineering within Cockrell School of Engineering, is comparable. They start at the lower level and work their way up. So they take data structures junior year, we take it first semester. They work in C, we work in Java. But we all take the same required classes. We all have to take data structures, algorithms, statistics, discrete mathematics, and linear algebra, architecture, and I believe even operating systems is now a heavily recommended elective within the department.
We get a lot of students that are also interested in dual majors, and many of them are in the College of Natural Sciences, the one that they would like to select that's their dual, and then a lot of medical fields. Is that very common for our students to have dual majors?
Some dual majors are very simple. Something like adding a math major. As a computer science student, you do not have any restrictions as of today. Adding any major in the College of Natural Science besides computer science. So theoretically, yes, any CNS major. The most common we see is math, for sure. We have a handful of double majors in something like biology or physics. I've seen them. The university as a whole, I would say, is getting away from double majors and just trying to really increase the certificate and minor and interdisciplinary options within degrees, because they are more valuable sometimes in the long run in terms of cost effectiveness, and in just simply not wasting time. But something like math, yes, is certainly doable. Something like engineering, if it's going to be worth it, it's going to take 5 years for sure. If you're interested in business, you could apply as a double major, but they have 9 minor and certificate options that have a variety of broadness to very nuanced options. So there's a lot more variety out there than just simply picking up a double major. I would anecdotally, maybe 10% of our students double major in anything. What do you think, Laurel?
Yeah, it's not a very big number, especially just given the coursework that the students have to do. If they're doing a traditional BS, sometimes that's all the coursework that they want to take on. Something like math is pretty easy because the coursework can be similar, but if it's something like business or engineering, even something outside like in COLA, like linguistics or history, that stuff can be kind of hard for students to balance because they are so different.
Yeah, and all the BA degrees in COLA require a full foreign language. So if you're trying to pick it up junior year, not really realistic. But we definitely encourage students to look at minors and certificates. CNS students don't have any limitation. They are allowed to add more than one, and we have a large population of our students pursuing one, if not more than one minor certificate.
I know about the Elements program. Is that something that y'all advise on?
So that is something that I try to stay on top of every single semester. We don't see the elements of computing students. They don't physically come into my office to be advised. But I do update the website almost every day. Like if something new happens, I update the website. If students ask questions, I send them to the website. I'm the one that primarily responds to all of those emails. And we have tried to reach out to other advisors in CNS and UTY, basically just giving them the tools that they need to be able to advise on these. But the website is the main thing. And that is something that I try and be as transparent as possible about, trying to make sure that students and advisors can read the website and know what they need to take.
Could you describe the Elements program?
Yes. So if you are a CS major, you cannot pursue this. This is for non-majors. And so everyone else aside from CS can participate in the certificate. It is 18 hours of coursework and it is taught in Python. The courses consist of 2 lower division courses, which is basically an intro course and an intro course 2 that are prerequisites, and then 4 upper division coursework, and that goes into mobile computing, game development, data analytics, data visualization, again, all taught in Java, no, all taught in Python. And then this is the transcript recognizable certificate. So this will appear on their transcript. We have had students get jobs in software engineering because they've taken 18 hours of coding coursework. And so it is pretty valuable to students outside of CS.
Laurel does a lot of work managing the certification and helping with substitutions and our faculty advisor, but like our degree, the certificate is really straightforward, very simple, like 2 required 4 electives. And so our students are pretty good about, being able to track their progress and not getting behind. And for our own students, that means we get to go into a little bit more in-depth, advice. But our faculty advisor for Elements, I think, is pretty good about providing like career opportunities and staying involved with his students.
Department has some exciting concentrations that students can focus on. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, so we do have concentrations in, I believe, 6 fields. There's like machine learning and AI, game development, mobile computing, big data, operating systems, and things like that. These concentrations consist of at least 4 courses, and some can consist of 6 to 7. And students can gain these concentrations within our degree. Basically, whether you're doing a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Science of Arts, you do have to take CS upper division electives. These CS upper division electives, if you choose to focus in a specific area, can gain you a concentration. Something to note about these concentrations is that they are not transcript recognizable, so they will not appear on anything. But students can definitely, if they want to choose to take like 3 courses in AI, 3 courses in game development, so on and so forth, they would have a focus in those areas, and they can definitely talk about those in recruiting and put that on their resume.
Yeah, the Bachelor of Science degree, like you said, has 8 electives, so it's pretty common for us to see them take half of their electives and put them towards the 4 security classes, and I've created a concentration. But with the other 4, they do kind of get to take a sampling because we have courses that don't fall within that concentration that are really valuable courses, things like software engineering or object-oriented programming. Those kinds of things, we highly recommend students look at those options too, like programming languages, compilers, data management. So luckily the flexibility allows you to do both if you want.
All right, the next subject we want to talk about is orientation. I know it's a little different for the fall this year, but tell us about a typical orientation.
Yeah, so a typical orientation at UT is like a Monday through Wednesday, so you spend 2 nights on campus. You get there bright and early Monday morning to check in, and it is a very busy first day and a half of welcome to UT, welcome to the College of Natural Science, now welcome to the Department of Computer Science. Here is your math assessment scores, things like that. There's some fun social events that are optional, and then some required social events so that you get to meet a few other people in your orientation wing, as they call it. And you'll have an orientation advisor who's a student. So that student will be in charge of you the whole time and make sure you get everywhere you need to go and help with everything right until you check out. But throughout those 2.5 days or so, you'll do lots of presentations and activities and meet with an academic advisor. And the end of everything is registering for classes. So by the end of orientation, your goal is to register for classes, and then you get to go home. You want to add anything, Laurel?
It's a whirlwind. It's a lot of information, and I'm sure it'll be the same way even though it's online. But it is a neat opportunity, at least for us, to be able to see the students prior to whenever they get here. And they may not remember everything, and this might have been incredibly stressful for them, but I think it's still a neat opportunity for them to see us beforehand, and then obviously get to reiterate like who we are like once they come here in the fall. And it's cool to also be in the building. Something that like we do, I guess specifically, is like we take them and we keep them in the GDC for a lot of the things. So like registration, for example, all of CNS will usually register in like the FAC, but we invite our students to come register in the GDC with us. And so it's not however many students are there orientation, it's just like the 70 or 50 of them that are there, and then like the advisors. And so we're able to give more one-on-one stuff in terms of registration.
So CS majors get a ton of opportunities to interact with each other during normal orientation. Yeah.
So this summer, when you do it virtually, will you be a large meeting of, and see each other and meet each other that way?
For our part, which we are literally the only thing we can speak to at this point, we will each have 12 to 13 students we're responsible for. So we will get one-on-one time with them, but also hopefully a somewhat interactive session with our 12 to 13 each week.
I want to thank you both for joining us. And if there's anything else you can think of, just let me know.
Thanks, Mary Esther.
Thank you.